तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः परकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिते नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामो राम रामो हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome all of you all for a weekly Gita class. So last week we had discussed verse number 31 and 32. So just to recap, So just to recap, in text 31, Krishna says, Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhanvanto nanushunto muchyante tepi karmavi. So Krishna says, those who and execute their duty to instructions, to follow these things faithfully without envy, become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. So here in text 31, Krishna is saying what is the result of following Bhagavad Gita? What is the result of following Krishna's instructions? So if we follow Krishna's instructions, we will definitely become successful and we will become free from all bondage. So in this material world, all of us are bound, isn't it? We are all bound in this material world. In this body, in this material world, we actually don't have any freedom. And all of us in life, we want to achieve freedom. And how do we achieve freedom? We can achieve freedom by following the instructions of Krishna properly. And how to follow? Shraddhanvanto nanushanto, with faith and without envy. So these are two important concepts or two important principles. One is to follow Krishna's instructions with faith. So because we cannot see Krishna at this point, we cannot see the spiritual world at this point, we need to have faith and we should follow it without envy. If we do this, Krishna is assuring here that definitely we will get success. So we discussed this purport also last time, wherein Srila Prabhupada explains that even in the beginning, if you are not able to follow all the instructions, but if you are not resentful of the principle, if we are at least trying to follow, still we will get success. So Krishna in text 31 explains what is the result of following Krishna's instruction. So someone may say, I don't care for Krishna's instruction. So what will happen to such a person who does not follow the Lord's instruction? Text 32. Ye tve etat abhaya shunyanto nadutishtanti me matam sarva jnana vimutam stan vidhi nashtan achetasaha. Krishna says, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. So someone may be very knowledgeable, but if he doesn't follow Krishna's instruction, all this knowledge is a waste. Whatever material knowledge you have is simply a waste. Real knowledge is understanding what Krishna is trying to teach in the Bhagavad Gita. This is real knowledge. So what we are learning in the Bhagavad Gita, this is real education. So if you don't follow Krishna's instructions, if you don't read Bhagavad Gita, and if you live life the way we want, envying the Lord, trying to become the Lord, trying to become the enjoyer, then we will not achieve any knowledge. We will be befooled. We'll become the greatest fool. And we will not attain any perfection. We will be ruined in all endeavors of perfection. So Prabhupada says here, without Krishna, there is no hope for perfection for such a person. And Prabhupada gives us example, just like, a person may be a citizen of a country. If he disobeys the laws of the country, then he is going to be punished. Similarly, if he disobeys the laws of God, yesterday was Republic Day, right? So in Republic Day, the Constitution of India was made. But for us, the most important constitutional book is Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita tells us what is the constitution of our Atma. What is the duty of the Atma? The constitution in this country tells us what is the duty of a citizen in this country, how we should live, what are the rules, what are the do's, what are the don'ts. But Bhagavad Gita actually tells us the real constitutional duty. So this Bhagavad Gita is actually the most important constitutional book. So if we don't follow the rules that are given in the Bhagavad Gita, then definitely we are going to get punished and we will suffer. Our endeavors for perfection will be ruined. So this is what we discussed last time. So now we will continue from 33. Sadrisham chestate swasya prakriter jnanavanapi prakritim yati bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. What Sadrisham chestate tries swasya by his own prakrite modes of nature jnanavan learned api also prakritim nature yanti undergo bhutani all living entities nigraha repression kim what karishyati can do. Translation: even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows nature, what can repression accomplish? So here Arjuna wanted to run away from the battlefield and carry out the profession of a beggar, just live a life like a brahmana. He didn't want to fight actually. So Krishna is telling him, my dear Arjuna, if you try to repress your qualities, we are all born with a psychophysical nature. We all have a certain makeup, a mental makeup, a bodily makeup. So if you don't act according to our nature, then we will not achieve any perfection. Because if you repress, what is repression? Just like, if you have water gushing out from a pipe, if you push the water down, sometime or the other, the water will gush out, right? So just artificial repression will not help. We need to channelize whatever nature we have to use that nature in Krishna's service. We can't artificially try to repress and control. Repression doesn't work for a long time. We have to try to channelize the whole thing. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that unless one is situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness, so Krishna consciousness means the process of bhakti. So if someone is not practicing Krishna consciousness, the bhakti yoga, for such a person, this is the instruction. You have to act according to your nature. Whatever is your psychophysical nature, whether you are a Kshatriya, Brahmana. So these varnas, Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, are not based on birth, but they are based on one's qualities and activities. Guna karma vibhagasha. So Krishna will explain in the 4th chapter. It's based on qualities and activities. So if someone is not in Krishna consciousness, such a person is recommended to act according to one's nature. Right? Why? Because so Prabhupada explains that one should not suddenly give up one's prescribed duties artificially. One should not say that I'm transcendental and just give up and go. No, one has to follow the gradual advancement. So without being fully Krishna conscious, one should not give up his occupational duties. So this is very, very important. We have to try to be Krishna conscious. So if we are in the process of Krishna consciousness, in the process of Bhakti Yoga, then one can transcend the bodily level. Otherwise, one has to act according to the bodily level. And Prabhupada explains here that Maya is so strong that simply theoretical knowledge is not enough. The Jnanis, there is a path of yoga called the Jnana Yoga, wherein they study the Vedas and they try to theoretically, do this repeated affirmations again and again that I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. So Prabhupada explains here, this theoretical knowledge is not enough. Just understanding theoretically, I'm not this body, I'm soul, I'm not this body, I'm soul, is not enough. Because Maya is very strong. One has to act in Krishna consciousness in order to get free from this entanglement. Only then it will work. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So this Maya is very difficult to overcome. You can't overcome Maya just by the process of Jnana. You need bhakti, because only when the mercy of Krishna comes, then only one can transcend the bodily platform. So till then, if someone has not reached that stage of Krishna consciousness, then Krishna advises such a person, better do your duty. It is better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Lord Chaitanya, when he took sannyas and he went to the South Indian Yatra, he comes to a place called Kurma Kshetra. And in Kurma Kshetra, there is one Brahmana who, after seeing the Lord, he's so inspired. He tells the Lord, my dear Lord, I just want to give up my family and I'll just follow you. The Lord tells him, no. Sthane sthita shruti-gatam tanuvam manobdi. Wherever you are, you stay there. Whatever ashram you are in, you stay there. But you practice bhakti. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. No one should suddenly give up one's prescribed duties and become a so-called transcendentalist. One should not jump artificially. One needs blessings. It is better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. So the whole idea is, you see, we may have all these emotions of renunciation that comes, but it has to be channelized through some authority. We need guidance. Because if you do something, if you make decisions in life just based on momentary emotions, then such decisions are not perfect. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you may get this impulse of renunciation now. You may feel that you are like a Brahmana now. You may just renounce and go to the forest. But because you have still the nature of Kshatriya, one go to the forest also, they are fighting with someone. Instead of fighting with innocent, better stay here and do your duty of Kshatriya. So the whole idea that Prabhupada is saying here, one should act according to superior training. That means one needs guidance. Whether I can give up at this point or no, one needs guidance. If someone does like this, one may be free from the clutches of Krishna's Maya. So first thing we need to understand, Mama Maya Duratya. So Maya is Krishna's Maya. So if you want to overcome Maya, it is only possible through the mercy of Krishna. There is this very famous story that Sachinandan Maharaj tells. One time, Sachinandan Maharaj, who is one of very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he's from Germany basically. So in his school days, he would distribute newspapers to different homes in Germany just to make some little money, pocket money. So there was one particular house, he would throw the newspaper right from down, huge bungalow. He never entered because there was this huge German dog, German Shepherd, they say, na? Huge German dog. So he never dared to enter into this house. But one day, the owner of the house told him, okay, come inside. So this young boy, Sachinandan, he goes inside. And as he reaches the top floor, this dog is about to pounce on him. About to pounce. And it's so terrifying, huge dog. But suddenly the owner calls out the name of the dog and tells the dog to become pacified. And the dog immediately sits down. So Sachinandan Maharaj tells us his story that Maya Devi is like this dog ready to pounce upon us, very powerful. But when Krishna tells Maya, that's why Srila Prabhupada is explaining here, Krishna's Maya. So Maya is Krishna's. So when Krishna tells Maya, my dear Maya Devi, please leave this devotee. Don't do anything to him. Then Maya will become pacified. So for us to overcome the material platform and reach the spiritual platform, for us to overcome a material conditional nature and material desires, one needs to surrender to Krishna through a proper authority, through proper guidance and training. Then one can overcome one's nature. Text 34. Indriyas Indriyas yarte raga dvesho vyavastito tayo navasham agacche tohi asya paripantino. Word to word, indriyasya of the senses, indriyasya arte in the sense objects, raga attachment, dvesho also detachment, vyavastito put under regulations, tayo of them, no never, vasham control, agachet one should come, to those, he certainly, asya his, paripantino stumbling blocks. Translation: there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. So, this is the important verse. So, Krishna is saying here, on the path of bhakti, we are all trying to achieve self-realization. We are trying to get God realization. We are trying to advance in the spiritual life. There are two stumbling blocks: raga, dvesha. Raga is attachment and dvesha is detachment. So Prabhupada explains raga is as attachment to sense objects and dvesha as aversion to spiritual life. So we have both these problems. One is we are attached to the sense gratification of this world, and second is we don't like Krishna consciousness. We are averse from it. So our conditioned nature is such that things that actually give us suffering, we are attached to. Things that liberate us, we are averse to it. Averse means we are hateful of it. We don't like it. So basically, what Krishna is saying here is that raga dvesha means the platform of like and dislike. So the mind functions in these two levels: sankalpa, vikalpa, like, dislike. You may say, I like someone, I don't like someone. I like this, I dislike this. He's my friend, he's my enemy. So the mind works like this. So both these are problems. Why? Because what you like may not be good for you, right? Someone may like smoking, someone may like drinking, but is your likes always good for you? No. And you may dislike something, like we dislike chanting. No, we don't want to chant. We dislike rules and regulations, right? We dislike so many things, but those dislikes may be good for us. You may not like chanting, but chanting may be good for you. So we have to, what basically Krishna is trying to tell here is, we should not act on the level of the mind. The mind's nature is sankalpa, vikalpa, attachment and aversion. You like something, you hate something. You want something, you don't want something. This is how the mind functions. And this is how the mind keeps us trapped in this world. Right? What you like, you want to increase. What you dislike, you want to remove from your life. Friends, enemies, the mind completely works like this. And it keeps, mind is like a pendulum, never steady. It's either this side or this side. If you observe carefully the thoughts that go on in our mind, it's either about things that we like, the mind likes to do, right? Things that the mind is attached to. And we also keep thinking a lot about people we hate, things we hate, right? See how much of our energy, see, when we sit to chant Hare Krishna, Okay, let's take it like this. When we sit to chant Hare Krishna, what are the biggest obstacles or the biggest thoughts that uh, stop us from really relishing the holy names of Krishna? These two thoughts only. If you are attached to something or someone in this world, while you chant Hare Krishna, what will happen? You will keep thinking about that person, right? If a boy or girl is attached to each other, you're chanting Hare Krishna, but in your mind you're getting all pictures, images about that object of attachment only, correct? Then how will you advance in spiritual life? That means your attachment is becoming a stumbling block, correct? Okay, now let's take another example. If there is someone whom you hate, if you feel that this person is my enemy, he's troubling me a lot, if you hate that person, when you sit to chant Hare Krishna, what thoughts you will get? You will get thoughts about feelings of hatred and revenge for that person, right? That person has harmed you, but you are averse, you hate that person, so you're continuously thinking about that person. So when you like someone, you're continuously thinking about that person. When you hate someone, you're continuously thinking about that person. Then how will you think about Krishna? So to think about Krishna, we should not be carried away by these two wings of the mind, raga, dvesha. We should try to focus on what is important. So that means we should not get too attached to things in this world, and we should not get too averse and hateful to the things in this world. Just focus on whatever is needed in Krishna consciousness. So this is what is very, very important. So Srila Prabhupada explains here that those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant for sense gratification. Right? So Prabhupada explains aversion here as dvesha as, devotees don't like sense gratification. But for those who are not in Krishna consciousness, right? That means if someone is not practicing bhakti yoga, then this verse is very important. What Krishna is saying, there are principles to regulate. Vyavastito. Vyavas, Vyavastito means to regulate attachment and aversion. So the nature of the material world is sense enjoyment. All of us have come to this material world to enjoy the senses, full scale. Whatever the full capacities we want to enjoy. So now, someone who's not practicing bhakti yoga, the scriptures say, okay, you want to enjoy, we understand, but at least regulate that enjoyment, make it regulated. Just like Prabhupada gives one example here. Or in the scriptures, there is this example for those who want to eat meat, those who are very inclined to eat meat. Scriptures say, okay, once in 15 days on the day of Amavasya, you do a particular sacrifice in front of goddess Kali and you eat that meat. And that too, meat of goat or something, not cow. So what is the whole idea? The whole idea is, anyway you are attached to eating meat, at least regulate it, no? At least put some restrictions. Right? That's what is the purpose of the all these rules and regulations in the Vedas. Like Prabhupada gives here an example. Like every conditioned soul has the natural necessity and desire urged for sex enjoyment. Right? Everyone wants to enjoy, man, woman, woman, man. This enjoyment tendency is there. So therefore, the scriptures say marriage. So if you want to enjoy it under the rules of marriage. But still, Prabhupada explains here, definitely, so marriage is like a license for you to enjoy, but still, there also there can be problem. You may enjoy within regulation, only married life, not outside married life. But still, Prabhupada says there that one should still be careful. Even in marriage life, one should still be careful because one can get astrayed even like that. Just like Prabhupada is giving the example here, someone may be on a highway. See, generally, highway is a place where you don't have crossings. You can just go full speed on a highway. Correct? That's the whole purpose of an highway. You can go at 120 speed. There is nothing. There is no cross movements that happen. You can go full speed. But it doesn't mean that on a highway there are no accidents. But rather, actually, if you're not careful, On the highway, there are more dangerous accidents. Why? Because you get into this mood that nothing will happen. It's a free road. Let me go full speed. You become little relaxed. You put your cautious nature down. You give up your caution and you go full speed. There's a good chance of there being an accident. In a congested road, in a city, generally accidents are lesser because you are very aware. अरे कोई भी कहीं से भी आ जाएगा. You are more aware. But on a highway, you are like free. You're going full speed, but there could be a good chance of accident. So Prabhupada is saying here that although they may be very carefully maintained, there is no guarantee that there will be no danger even on the safest road. So the idea is, see, scriptures give us rules and regulations for enjoyment, but one should be careful of those rules and regulations also. One can get carried away because the spirit of enjoying is very strong in all of us. Therefore, in spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of fall down. Therefore, any attachment for regulated sense enjoyment must also be given up. So even though one may be performing regulated sense gratification, someone may say, "Okay, at least I've controlled my sense gratification, it's a regulated." But there also, there could be obstacles in the path of bhakti. So the best idea is, the best principle, Prabhupada is saying here, is attachment to Krishna. Attachment to Krishna automatically leads to detachment. So the whole, in essence, the summary of this verse is, if you want to be free from this two stumbling blocks of attachment and aversion, like and dislike, the platform on which the mind functions, the best thing is become attached to Krishna. That is what the essence is. The whole purpose of detachment from all sense and attachments is ultimately to become situated on the spiritual platform, in the platform of Krishna consciousness. So if we come to the process of Bhakti Yoga and practice Bhakti Yoga sincerely, trying to develop attachment to Krishna's service more and more, naturally we will get free from this stumbling blocks. We will work on the platform of what is right. That is why our Bhakti scriptures, Rupa Goswami gives us that what is Bhakti. He says, Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. What is right for Bhakti, what is favorable for Bhakti you do, and what is unfavorable for Bhakti you give up. So the mind of any normal person who doesn't have faith in Krishna, he functions on the platform of like and dislike. The mind likes something, the mind dislikes something. But a Krishna conscious devotee doesn't function like that. He doesn't choose because he likes something or he dislikes something. He chooses because whether it is favorable to bhakti, just like tomorrow is Ekadashi, correct? So Ekadashi is a day where devotees try to fast from grains, pulses, etc. And try to focus more on their spiritual life. So Ekadashi, no one really likes Ekadashi prasad. Everyone wants rice, chapati. You may like it, but as devotees we understand, no, Ekadashi is favorable for bhakti. Madhava titi bhakti janani. Ekadashi is favorable for bhakti, so I will practice. So even if you don't like something, as devotees we do it because it is good for my spiritual life. And something that we like, which may not be good for a spiritual life, we are ready to give up. So this platform is called Anukulyasya Sankalpa. What is favorable, you accept. What is not favorable for bhakti, you give up. You may have your best friend, who may be a very nice person to you, but is completely materialistic. And you are trying to become a devotee of Krishna. So what are you supposed to do? He may be your best friend, but if he is not favorable to your Krishna consciousness, you should give up his friendship. So this is what it means, that being free from unnecessary attachment. Just like in the Mahabharata, there is this example of Karna and Duryodhana. Right? Karna and Duryodhana are celebrated as very good friends. But what is the use of that friendship? You both were attached to each other, but neither could help each other in spiritual life. So what is the use of such friendship? Better to give up such friendship, right? So giving up those things that are stumbling blocks on path of bhakti is very important. If we keep putting blocks in the path of bhakti, how will we advance? So whatever is coming in between us and Krishna that is not helping us, we should just try to, let go of these things so that we can speed on up. Just imagine, you're going in a car, you're trying to race in the car, and there are stones every now and then. Will you be able to speed in the car? You'll not be able to speed up. So you have to remove those stones, then you can go full speed. So similarly, if you are trying to increase our speed in bhakti, simultaneously we have attachment to this. I like to watch TV, I like to watch football, I like to watch cricket, this, that, n number of things, movies, so many things. How will we advance in spiritual life? So if you want advancement in spiritual life, we just need to give up these things that are obstacles. So that is what Krishna is explaining here. We will read text 35 and then we will stop for today. Shreyan swadharmo viguna paradharma swanustitat swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. This is also a very important verse. Shreyan, far better, swadharmaha, one's prescribed duties, vigunaha, even faultily, paradharmat, then duties mentioned for others, su anustitat, perfectly done, swadharme, in one's prescribed duties, nidhanam, destruction, shreyaha, better, paradharmaha, duties prescribed for others, bhayavaha, dangerous. This is an important verse. Please hear attentively. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is far better than another engaging in another's duty, for to follow another's path is dangerous. So what is Krishna trying to tell here is, Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, better you do your duty as a Kshatriya. If you try to act like a Brahmana, it will not help you. Better to do what you are meant to do, right? What you're meant to do, better to do that only. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that you're running away from the battlefield thinking that, array, there is some fault in this field, I have to kill. But then, see, the nature of every profession is that there are some faults in every profession. Some fault. Just like Prabhupada would say, when you go to a shop and the shopkeeper tells you, आपके लिए ना मैं कुछ प्रॉफिट नहीं कर रहा हूं. If the shopkeeper tells you, आपके लिए ना मैं कुछ भी प्रॉफिट नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं ऐसे ही दे रहा हूं आपको, you have to understand that he is telling a lie. निश्चित रूप से झूठ बोल रहा है. Why? Because for a businessman, small little lies are allowed. That is his fault. So his fault in business is he may have to make up something and speak something so that the business goes on. Right. Similarly, a Kshatriya, he may have a fault. For a Kshatriya, he has to kill. So the duty of a Kshatriya is you have to kill others, for dharma. So a Kshatriya, if he runs away from that duty, every varna has some fault in it, has something wrong in it. It's not wrong, or some what do you call it in English, occupational hazards. There are some occupational hazards that are there. So if you want to live a life without problems, it is not possible. Whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, there are some faults everywhere. So Krishna is saying, my dear Arjuna, better do your own duty as a Kshatriya, even if it is filled with fault, rather than doing someone else's duty perfectly. That's what Krishna is saying here. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that generally, according to our own psychophysical nature, as I explained to you, there are certain prescribed duties for us. Correct? Like if someone's makeup is of a Kshatriya, there are certain duties for a Kshatriya. If someone's makeup is like a Brahmana, there are certain duties for a Brahmana. Right? So, but the important theme that Prabhupada is stressing here, something that's very important. So we have two duties, correct? we have material duty and spiritual duty. Okay, so this is called Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. See, we have a material body and material mind, and we are spirit soul inside. So a material body and mind has a certain duty, which is called Swadharma, psychophysical nature, which is controlled by the three modes. And we have spiritual duty as the Atma. What is the spiritual duty as the Atma? To serve God. Material duties may vary. Someone may be a Kshatriya, someone may be a Vaishya, Shudra. We may have materially duties different. But as spirit souls, our duty is one only, to serve Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining here very beautifully, whether it is material duty or spiritual duty, the principle is one should follow one's duty up to the point of death. Swadharme nidanam shreya. Even if death comes, you don't give up your duty. So this is the platform of, this is the platform in which a sincere person works. Even if death comes, whatever the circumstance may be, he doesn't give up his duties. You have so many examples. You have the example of Abhimanyu in the Mahabharata. Abhimanyu, there was like 16-year-old boy. 7 powerful Maharathis come to kill Abhimanyu together. But till the last moment, Abhimanyu doesn't give up the duty of a Kshatriya. Even while dying, he's still fighting. Because he's a Pakka Kshatriya. Whatever happens till the final moment, he doesn't give up. So that means you are a very sincere person. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are supposed to be like that. You are supposed to fight till the end. And similarly, all of us have spiritual duties. Correct? Our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, has given us the path of Krishna consciousness. We are supposed to chant Hare Krishna a prescribed number of rounds. If you are chanting 16 rounds, we are supposed to chant 16 rounds every day. If you are chanting 2 rounds, 4 rounds, whatever the number of rounds, we are supposed to do it. We are supposed to read Gita. We are supposed to practice spiritual life. We are supposed to do Ekadashi, right? So we are supposed to do these duties till when? Till the last moment of our life. Whatever comes, high or low water, we are supposed to perform our duties perfectly. So this is what Krishna is telling here. Whether material or spiritual duties, one should stick to the duties even up to death. This is very important. One should stick to the duties. We should not give up our spiritual duties, whatever comes. Even if you are diseased, even if you are bedridden, our 16 rounds should go on. We should not compromise. Our following of the regulative principles, our reading of Srila Prabhupada books, however difficult may be, however difficult the mind may sometimes make it, we may have different moods. It is important that we stick to the duty even till the time of death. Srila Prabhupada was the best example of this. Till the last moment, Prabhupada was preaching. He didn't stop. So, Prabhupada says here, duties on the material and spiritual platform may be different, but the principle of following authorized direction is always good for the performer. We need to follow direction and continue till the end. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya, fight, don't run away. Similarly, we all have a duty of spiritual life. We have to do it till the end. Follow some direction, not just follow the direction of the mind, but follow the direction of the spiritual master and make progress. And we saw that Srila Prabhupada explained in text 33 also same thing. To be free from Maya, one should follow Krishna consciousness under superior training. That is what is important. So we should not imitate others. We should do what we are supposed to do, what the Guru has told us to do. We should do that only. We should not try to imitate others. And Prabhupada also explains that for a Kshatriya, a Kshatriya generally is in the mode of passion. That means a Kshatriya is allowed to be violent. Right? Kshatriya can be violent. And a Brahmana is in the mode of goodness. He should not be violent. Non-violence is for Brahmanas, not for Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are not supposed to practice non-violence. They can practice, but when situations are needed, they are supposed to act violently. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're a Kshatriya, you be violent. Because you can't expect the Brahmanas to be violent. Let them Brahmanas do their duty of non-violence and their Shastras. You be violent, you protect, isn't it? You see, in this great land of India, even after so many years of Mughal invasion and British invasion, and everything, India is still spiritually intact. Why? Because both these people have done their part. The Kshatriya kings who were there, they fought very bravely. You have Shivaji Maharaj and you have very powerful Kshatriya kings who sacrificed their life for dharma. They didn't say non-violence. No, they practiced violence. And because the proper Kshatriya kings practiced violence, the other saintly Brahmanas could practice their dharma properly. Just like, when uh, Vishwamitra, Prabhupada gives the example of Vishwamitra. When Vishwamitra Muni comes to Dasharath Maharaj, he tells Dasharath, please give me Ram, because I am a Brahmana, I can't fight, because I am supposed to focus on my sacrifice yajna. Ram is a Kshatriya, let him come and protect. So Vishwamitra Muni was doing his yajna and Ram was protecting. So this is called symbiosis. When we work together, the Kshatriyas do their duty of being violent against those who are living a life of adharma, the adharmic forces, and the Brahmanas do their duty of spiritual life. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you run away, the Brahmanas will have to take up weapons. That's not right. Better the Kshatriyas take up weapons, Shastra, and the Brahmanas take up Shastra. That is the best process. So Prabhupada says that everyone has to gradually cleanse one's heart, not abruptly. However, this line is very important. However, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one transcends the three modes. So generally, the principle is someone who is a Kshatriya should act as a Kshatriya. Someone who is a Brahmana should act as a Brahmana. But someone who is on a very elevated level, one who's in spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, and he has blessing of his guru, such a person can switch. A Kshatriya may act like a Brahmana and a Brahmana may act like a Kshatriya. It is possible in transcendental stage. Like Prabhupada gives the example, Vishwamitra was actually a Kshatriya, but he became a Brahmana. And Parshuram was a Brahmana, he became a Kshatriya. So transcendental it is possible. The principles all of us are learning is that we should carry out our duties, especially our spiritual duties, come what may, right? Till the point of death, till that final moment. This should be like a vision of our life. We should be able to see ourselves practicing Krishna consciousness till that final moment. If we do this, then our life is very, very successful. So from text 36, another new section begins. What is lust? How to overcome lust? Where is lust situated? All that. So that we will see the next time. So anyone has any questions till what we discussed today? Yeah. Yes. Shyam Sridhar too.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So,
Prabhu.
thank you Prabhuji, very nice class. First time I am attending your class. So, very wonderful class Prabhuji. So, I have two questions Prabhuji. So, first question is, how do we know that our Swadharma and Paradharma? So, because even though Swadharma having faults, we should accept it. Paradharma should not accept it. So as per Prabhupada's purports and as you told now, so how do we know first that Swadharma, that this is our actual this Swadharma and something is Paradharma, as per the material duties are concerned. Spiritually, anyhow, we got as a instructions from Guru that regular chanting of 16 rounds, following 4 regular principles, and studying, reading, all these things. This is first question, Prabhuji. Shall I ask the next question after that, or shall I ask now only?
You can ask, no issue.
Second question is, as you said in the so you said until death we should practice our duties. So in this case, I have a question related to material duties, because practically we retire by 60 years age. Maybe government, as per the government rules, as private companies, what we are working, or maybe businessman, whoever may be. So as an employee, I retire by 60 years age only. So
Correct.
I from my material duties. So but here is point what you mentioned is we have to do our duties till the final moment of death. So if you divide it to two categories, one is spiritual duties, another is material duties. Spiritual duties, we got the our point, like the 16 rounds doing 16 rounds or more daily and till the point of death, that is clear. So about the material duties, so how can I understand, like doing till the end of the death? So this is two point questions, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah, very nice questions. So the first question about how do we come to know what our material duty is, what our psychophysical nature is. See, in the traditional times now, there used to be Gurukul, in which the Guru would identify what your uh, what your guna karma is, what your psychophysical nature is. Basically, the Guru would identify. So now we don't have that system so prominent, but one of the easiest ways to find out what your psychophysical nature is to ask yourself what you're extremely good at. What you're extremely good at. If someone just leaves you and tells you, do your favorite activity, you're ready to do that activity for day after day, you're ready to do, and you don't get tired with that activity. Something that really you like, you're ready to sacrifice even your eating, sleeping, even if that is not there, it's okay, but this is my activity, this is my passion. So if you can ask yourself this question, what you're really good at and what you really love to do, that is your psychophysical nature. Like someone, simple example, someone really loves to study. You have these people who love research and love studies. They are like bookworms, literally. So they are like Brahmana class of people. And there are some people who really love to manage. They love to manage resources, people. They are very good at it. So you are like a Kshatriya kind person. Kshatriya doesn't mean only a fighter. Kshatriya basically means a ruler, right? One who understands the intricacies of managing things well. He's a Kshatriya. And if you're like, some people are like natural businessmen. Just yesterday, we were having the 2 days ago, some of our boys had come down here on 26th. We were just having a discussion. So one boy was telling us that, some people have this knack. They just get a brilliant idea. They start a company, and in 1-2 years, the company becomes like crores of rupees worth. They sell the company, start the next company. I mean, these people are really good at business. They just get business ideas. Fatafat aisa aata hai. They just get ideas. So Brahmanas, they get ideas about writing books. They can just keep doing research and getting new ideas or writing more literatures. They are very good at it. The Kshatriyas get solid ideas about how to manage. And if you're not in these three categories, that means basically you are just good at following. See, when we say Shudra, please note that Shudra is not a low profession. It's just a makeup. Some people, I mean, they would just prefer to follow. You understanding? So they'll come in that category. And you need people like that also. See, if everyone gives orders, you know, if everyone becomes like a Kshatriya, like a boss and keeps giving orders, who will follow the orders? Someone has to execute also, no? Someone may have an idea, someone has to execute. So that's also an important profession. So it's just about understanding what you're really good at. That's your psychophysical nature. First question. We can follow. Second question about should we carry the duties till the end of our life? See, that's also important because See the way, there are two parallel tracks that go on, Varna and Ashrama. Correct? Varna means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And then there is an Ashrama line also. So both has to go on. The Ashrama line is Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Right? So generally, everyone starts off as a Brahmachari. You get Brahmachari training. And Brahmachari training basically means training in discipline. To follow orders. To follow, be under a guru. So that's Brahmachari training. Discipline. After that, you enter into Grahastha life, where you carry out your occupation or family. And then, when you take to Grahastha life, married life, and you carry out your profession to maintain your family, now you come to a point where your children have grown up. So that is the time you enter Vanaprastha. See, like here only in the Mahabharata war, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have to carry out your duty till the end of your life. But then Arjuna also retires and goes, na. He leaves some. So this is also an important aspect of life, Vanaprastha, where you just retire and husband wife both go to Tirth Yatras like that, and then finally the man takes up sannyas and continues. So retirement is also an important duty. So the whole idea is till 50, you carry out your material responsibilities, hand it over to your son, and after 50, you just focus on spiritual responsibilities. There's nothing material responsibilities in your life. Till 50 years, you have done enough. After that, only spiritual responsibility, no material responsibility. You are done with it. So it's not that till the last moment of life, you carry out your material responsibility. No, not needed. Even the Kshatriyas, every Kshatriya, they would, like Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Pandavas, Arjuna, they fought very hard for the kingdom. They ruled for 26 years, almost 26 years or 46 years, I'm not very sure. But then when the right time came, they handed over the kingdom to their grandson Parikshit and walked away. So this is also part of the duty. So it's not that you sit on the throne till the end. When you find someone, you train the next hierarchy, make them responsible, and you walk out. Yeah. So, was it okay, Prabhuji? Wait, what? Let me unmute you. Yeah, Sham Sridhar Prabhu. Okay, ठीक है.
Yes, bro. Actually, he was unmuted, so that's why he's not able to.
Yeah. Good. ठीक है. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, so we'll end for today. So from next time, we will start the next section from verse number 36 onwards. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.